Welcome everybody to a very special episode of Into the Stratusphere, episode 12. I'm your girl Cindy G here with another fresh gel manicure. That's right, got my nails done, but I digress on it. So today's episode, this is going to be a special episode because this is the recap of Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory. All right, you guys. So without further ado, before I get into everything, you guys remember who he is, my special guest from NoDQ.com and the co-host of The Sauce. Say hello to the simple man, Noah Foster. Hey, Noah, what up? How's it going?
What up? We just got done with Bound for Glory, and I'm doing well, and I'm still awake. And you got your nails done. I got my hair done simply by moving my hand through it. So there you go.
That's good to hear. I know we need to have our own personal time, especially for this chaotic time we are currently living at. But hey, at least we went out all about with safety measures. But, you know, it's all good, you guys. But before all this, Noah, where can people find you on social media?
People, you want to find me? It's as simple as this. PlayStation, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Foster 1916. Twitch and Foster 1916 25. It's as simple as that. I'll be streaming Sonic tomorrow in celebration, of course, of what I start now, the Sonic Sundays.
Awesome. And you guys know you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, my YouTube channel at simply_C_OK. That's SIMPLY_C_OK. And you guys, if you're listening to any of the podcasting platform, which is Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitchers, or any other podcast platform, make sure to follow The Bulletcast anywhere you go, including on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to this channel as well. Without further ado, you guys, so episode 12, Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory recap. I must say, Noah, I feel this pay-per-view is not the strongest pay-per-view that I was expected to be, because the fact that, like, this is the second pay-per-view after Slammiversary, even though this is the third pay-per-view of the whole year, I was getting into, like, this high hope of expectation to take, too. What are your thoughts that you have some expectation prior to coming to watch this pay-per-view?
Considering the run of Impact Wrestling this year, pay-per-view-wise, that actually started way back, as you know, in January, I believe, with Hard to Kill. This was interesting. I think about last year's Bound for Glory that I watched and this year's. I really can't compare the two because they both were different in various ways, especially with the fact that we're living, of course, through a pandemic. My expectations for this pay-per-view versus other stuff to come, including tomorrow, I was pretty much at the mild medium side. I wasn't expecting like a 5-star classic match card type thing, but I expected Impact Wrestling to continue the trend that they started at Slammiversary. In many ways, I feel like they did. While Slammiversary was a celebration of the rebirth of this brand, we look at Bound for Glory, that is truly the start of this new era in this brand, in more ways than one. Overall, I thought the show was pretty well executed, and I enjoyed it for the most part, but there is definitely a lot of talking points from it.
Oh, indeed, Noah. A lot to talk about. Now, you guys, just want to let you know, we are recording this podcast. So this podcast is actually going to be airing right after Philip and Brandon's recap of WWE Hell in a Cell, because, of course, WWE, a major brand. So WWE always comes first, and then you have this Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory, because I know some of you guys are going to be catching up to compare, like, which two pay-per-view is better or vice versa or anything like that. It's like so many like things that's going on in the world of wrestling. Like, hell, I did not know that Hell in a Cell is this weekend, like, because I don't follow WWE like I used to, and I stopped watching it back in April. But I digress, because I'm like more focusing on is just the shows I actually enjoy to watch, like New Japan, Impact, AEW, and some independent wrestling companies that are still running during this pandemic, and then sometime primetime left. So those are the shows I normally watch. So just wanted to let y'all know, just in case if you're listening to it, Bulletcast Nation. So All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start off with the pre-show. So the pre-show, you have this panelist. You have is Madison Rain, D'Lo Brown, and I don't know this one other person because that other person was actually the news anchor that did the hype promo for Slammiversary, the one that said breaking news of the several wrestler has been released from a so-called company. And I believe, like, shout out to our NoDQ.com contributor, Greg Cherry. He actually know this person because he used to train with him at an independent wrestling company up in Pennsylvania. So he actually brought it up during the NoDQ.com group chat on Facebook, which was pretty much a cool fact. But yeah, so forgive me if I forget that person's name. So yeah, you guys. So they just did the normal panels, and then we're gonna jump off to the first match of the pre-show, which is the Rascals versus the Deaners. I mean, it's just your typical match that you could watch on a regular episode of Impact Wrestling, like as part of a filler. I mean, it was a pretty good match, especially you have is the Rascals giving their much of this high-flying action going on. I mean, you have is the combination of Steppa Enziguri with a double stomp, and then, of course, like, out of nowhere, me and Noah thought that we were going to pick the Rascals to win, but unfortunately, the Deaners with their finisher, and they pick up the victory. Yeah. Noah, what are your thoughts on this match?
Considering the Dinos have really only been involved so much in a Wrestle House epilogue angle known as the running between the Butler and the Demon, I thought that was quite surprising considering the recent run of momentum that the Rascals have had in back-to-back tag team victories over Triple XL. So now this really makes me wonder, do the Rascals now have a stake towards maybe the tag team titles nearer down the line, or further, now that the Deaners have defeated the Rascals? It was actually kind of surprising to me that the Rascals lost here, because it basically flattens out their momentum. I definitely see this being a rematch, could be as soon as Tuesday, but kudos to the Deaners getting it done with that modified Slice Slam finisher. I was surprised by the finish. A pretty good match to basically build us into Bound for Glory. That's what it was.
I kind of agree more too, especially like they have to find something to do for the Rascals for like just to fill in, because I know Trey is like competing for the X Division title match. So like finding something to do for Dez and Zachary for the time being, it's like they're trying to book as much they can be. And then regarding with the Deaners, I know that it's kind of like a reflect to what's happening with this whole like Russell Howe's wedding segment. I'm sorry, it's like a bit hokey, you guys, but I'm just saying. So it is something that's kind of like just getting like a little bit more of a push for the Deaners too. So I get that. But hey, it's just like a good, solid filler match just to hype up for the pay-per-view too. But yeah. Alrighty, so afterwards, and I forgot to mention it, there was a technical error because like the pre-show was supposed to be airing on YouTube and Twitch, but there has been like a technical difficulty, so they only show it on Access TV and on Fight TV, which it's kind of like if you're watching on Fight TV, you'll be expecting a lot of long commercial breaks because Access TV, of course, they have like the commercial slot. So yeah. Anyway, so we're gonna afterwards we have this this Impact Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony, and then prior to you have is tons of video messaging cameos, like from, oh my god, it was such a surprise. Bret the Hitman Hart, Mick Foley, 3 of the MMA fighters, which is Arya Hewani, forgive me, I botched the name, Baz Rutten, and Channel Sonnen. Again, I'm trying my best to pronounce their first and last name,
You're doing all right.
It's a very unique name. So these 3 guys are MMA fighters. You may know them on UFC. So they actually congratulating Ken Shamrock for their accomplishment, especially like both as an MMA fighter and also as a competitive wrestler too. So it was a really nice touch to it. And then right when to kick off the ceremony, of course, Matt Striker, which he actually did commentary for the pre-show alongside Don Callis. He actually introduced the opening of the ceremony, and then lo and behold, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson gave a very incredible speech. out in this nice big backyard of his home, talking about his time competing against Ken Shamrock and how Ken is actually cultivating during the time with the other companies alike too. And then afterwards, they have Ken Shamrock coming out as Matt presented him with the Hall of Fame trophy type plaque. And that's when Ken Shamrock actually gave him a very sincere speech, coming from a true raw human being that he is too, talking about how he actually made a name for himself in the business, especially with wrestling. He is very grateful for everything he done, especially when he was with WWE, but at the time WWF. He actually thanked Vince McMahon, which I was like, oh wow, that's pretty interesting. So
big name drop.
Oh yeah, he thanked Vince McMahon. He also thanked Bret Hart, also The Rock. And he actually was very grateful and very genuine too. He actually thanked his wife, and he thanked the fans too for bringing supporting the athletes alike and everything too. So that was a really incredible ceremony to induct Ken Shamrock into the Hall of Fame. So Noah, what are your overall thoughts of the ceremony?
Congratulations to Ken Shamrock, a very humble, sincere man that has given everything he could to both wrestling and mixed martial arts, to us as fans, and has made positive impacts on many people's lives, as Bret Hart, Mick Foley, several others, and especially The Rock, because I darn sure remember those matches that The Rock, as the bad guy, had with Ken Shamrock, who was the crazy guy that, of course, was trying to always rip his ankle apart. They had some wild matches during the late 90s. And again, he felt humbled, he felt sincere, and at the end of the day, he's still doing what he does for us, the fans. And now he does it to help the younger talent, I believe, in Impact Wrestling. A very nice ceremony, very nice presentation. It was great to see Matt Striker and Don Callis in commentary, by the way. Matt Striker, nice way he did his hair, too. And overall, just a very welcoming way to really shed a positive light in the wrestling community, despite all the other nonsense we faced this year in 2020. Congrats to him, and I look forward to where the future takes him.
Indeed, which I know he's doing a very incredible job, especially he has this match that he was competing later on throughout the show, too.
Right.
So congratulations, Ken Shamrock. You totally deserve it. And thus, your 2020 Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer. Congratulations.
Well deserved.
Oh, yeah. And with that being said, let's go ahead and kick off with the main show. So the opening of the match is the six-way scramble match for the X Division Championship match, which you have the current champ, Rohit Raju, versus TJP, versus Chris Bay, versus Jordan Grace, versus Trey Miguel, versus Willie Mack. And your commentator for that main show is Josh Matthews and Don Callis, which, thank God, because I'd rather have listened to Don Callis, so digress on that. And it was a pretty solid opening of the match itself too. Everybody was looking awesome. Starting up with everybody was trying to beat the holy hell out of Raju, but he got out of the ring in time until TJP grabbed him and put him back in the ring, and that's where everybody started attacking one another too. Of course, yes, TJP applying that modifying last chancery to four of the competitors, and then of course you have is Jordan Grace trying to submit him with the rear naked chokehold, and then Raju hit him for that. So it's kind of a really impressive showcasing match with different tech wrestling skill too, like Jordan Grace as being a powerhouse brawler, and then you have Trey Miguel and Chris Bay as the high flyer. TJP, of course, the technical magician as he is. That's kind of the term I made up. Raju with a little bit of high flyer and a bit of brawl. And Willie Mack, let's just say Willie Mack did a very impressive job, especially with a different moveset. He actually go left and right and different kicks and different strikes for different opponents too. So that was a really impressive showcasing. So, and then of course you have his TJP with the Mama Slam to trying to pin Trey until Rohit did the running knee, and he did pin Trey Miguel, and thus Rohit Raju retained the X Division title. But I was a really dope opening of the match itself. Can't lie about it. It was awesome. Noah, what are your thoughts on this?
The X Division always sets the pace when it comes to Impact Wrestling, especially on their biggest day of the year, Bound for Glory. I thought it was actually fitting that they opened the show. What a hot opener. Everybody looked incredibly strong in this. There was a crazy spot with the electric chair drop kick that really made him go inside out on the floor. That could have ended nasty at one point. We saw some crazy new dynamic action from Willie Mack, taking everybody out one by one. At one point, I think Don Kaz Lily said there was a tail whip on that one roundhouse kick that he did, proving how much he really is nimble and versatile. Rohit Raju, all we needed was his vocals. We didn't need commentary. And all he had to do was just say single words. We heard opportunity. We heard great job. We heard equality. We heard his confidence. We thought he had multiple times he came in, picked his spots, was going to win this match. And in the end, he did capitalize, even though at one point he was literally in a 5-on-1 slap and just being assaulted by everybody. Because again, as you said, everybody hates the guy. Jordan Grace, I thought, was a great X Factor here. She really demonstrated her power, especially with that Tower of Doom spot where she lifted herself up out of the trio blow until Rohit yelled equality and stomped her. But overall, we can talk about this match itself was a highlight reel. But kudos to everybody that performed. And at the end of the day, the champ did what he had to do in a multi-person match. He picked his spot. He capitalized. He retained the title, picking it up over the guy that pinned him literally on Last Impact after Chris Bay came into play, and they revisit past hostilities. So congrats to Rohit. But now that he's beating everybody technically in the X Division and has given everybody the opportunity, we'll have to wait and see who really, really, really argues that I should have a one-on-one with this guy. It could be Chris Bay because that match has yet to happen. But we'll have to see.
I definitely agree. I mean, there's like so many competitors like that can actually try to get the opportunity from Raju. So I'm excited to see what's going to be happening next, even though like, I think this is kind of like the end of like the feud with like everybody competing alike and then moving forward to what's going to be happening in the near future alike too. And I would say this, I'm happy that Trey Miguel's ring gear made it on time before Bound for Glory starts too, because I know I saw it on Twitter that like he was waiting patiently for his new ring gear to arrive, and then like 5 hours before the show starts, still haven't arrived. But thank goodness he got his ring gear and he's ready to go. Jordan Grace, of course, pretty in pink, just to honor this month's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So that's pretty admirable too. And everybody looks great alike too.
Oh yeah, and my hometown boy Trey, I thought he had it. In my opinion, Trey is an uncrowned X Division champion. The same with TJP. TJP impressed me the most here, especially when he had 3 people at one point locked. And Jordan Grace, you said, tries to come into play. And we literally have all 5 people trapped in this spot, it seemed. And Rohit just applauding and then tries to take advantage. I thought that was a really fun spot in this match.
Indeed. All right, so let's go and move on to the next match, which is the Call Your Shot Scotland match, which prior to that you have this hokey bachelorette party, of course, and then of course they got stopped by Jimmy Jacobs saying everybody involved in the Call Your Shot, just go there. And then afterwards cut to Heath and Rhino, which by the way, biggest botch of the night, because right when Heath was about to say his line, that's where Rhino stopped, and then you can hear someone in the background like kind of like directing what they gotta do. And it's like 3, 2, 1, action. So you saw that, right?
Oh yeah, that wasn't the only botch that I saw tonight.
Yeah, and it started trending on social media now. And someone tagged Matthew of Botchamania. Hey, Matthew. Hi, how are ya? He's gonna have a lot of field day about this segment, because
and that's why Botchamania will never die. He created an idea and is thriving on it for life because wrestling will never be unbotched in any facet.
Oh, yeah. So that is like pretty much a botched moment for Impact Wrestling. Like, wow.
That's the first one.
Alrighty. So for Call Your Shot Gauntlet match, it was kind of like the Royal Rumble match, even though there has been a botch too when it comes to the time clock, because right when like you're waiting for number 3, but the countdown didn't start, but then when number 4, the countdown is starting, and then it's starting to rush quicker and quicker. That's what I kind of like noticed it throughout this match. So it's kind of like, you guys kind of like ruin a little bit of like who's going to make the appearance and whatnot. But that's what I get the feeling of it, Noah. So
I agree because, again, it felt like as we were moving forward, competitors are coming in faster, 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 faster. Now, there are two ways I can look at this. One, they were pushed on time. And two, we have to still exercise, of course, social distancing. Because unlike New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Pro Wrestling does not take a clean and disinfectant break. And at one point, you literally had almost 10 plus people, men and women, in the ring. So I could see this be a more so a precautionary measure as well. But I get what you're saying.
Indeed. Alrighty, so, and I'm going to list who are the participants from 1 to 20. So number one, of course, you have is Rhino. Number two, which was a holy crap, Sean Davari. Yep.
Wow.
Number three, Larry D, wearing his new ring gear, which I actually dig it a lot, Noah. Number four, Crazy Steve. Number five, AC Romero. Number six, Tennille Dashwood with Caleb, with the K.
With the K.
Yeah, which the ring announcer actually did botch you because he forgot to put with the K on it.
Botch number two. Very good.
Yep. Well, you know, the technical error for the pre-show about the YouTube and Twitch, kind of, but...
we're probably up to like 5 at this point. I mean, it's not like we catch every botch. Even Matthew can't catch every botch, but he's got enough botches to make a video.
Oh, yeah, indeed. All right, number 7, Havoc with Nevaeh. Number 8, Brian Myers. Number 9, here's a surprise, Swaggle. Number 10,
almighty.
I know, right? It was like, oh my God. Number 10, Tommy Dreamer, which mad respect to him because he actually paid the tribute to the late Road Warrior Animal, which you guys know he did passed away a couple weeks ago, which it was a very touching tribute to him. So much respect to Tommy Dreamer. Number 11, Alicia Edwards. Number 12, Kiera Hogan with Tasha Steele. Number 13, Taya Valkyrie with Rosemary and Johnny Bravo. Number 14, Falaba with the water cache that he's trying to hide. Number 15, this is where everybody was losing their mind. That cowboy, James Storm. Like, holy crap, y'all.
DNA original.
Yup. All right, number 16, Adam Thornstone. Number 17, Lusted Legend, which I know here in Northern California, we are so happy for Reno Scum to get their opportunity. So, yeah, number 18, Heath. Number 19, that's when we went, holy crap, Sami Callihan. And number 20, Hernandez. So these are the participants for the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. And I must say, it was all right, even though, like, the whole pacing situation was, like, very questionable, especially, like I said, about the whole time clock situation for that. But I think they did an impressive job. What's so surprising is that when Tennille was about to enter, she was like, no, guess who fell in? Caleb with the K. He inserted himself in the match, and he did a pretty impressive job because we haven't seen Caleb with a K wrestle since his time at NWA Power as Caleb Conley with 2 Ks, of course. Well, actually, he was 2 Cs at that time.
Right.
But it was great to see him, like, being in a ring and, like, doing what he got to do. So... And, of course, he got eliminated by Havoc, of all people. So, yeah, so it was, like, a pretty impressive moment. Of course, you have his Tommy Dreamer and Alicia Edwards with the kendo stick. And then Brian Myers did eliminate Alicia. And, of course, you have Brian Myers and Tennille doing an impromptu photo shoot, of course. And then after he eliminated Tennille Dashwood, of course, being a smart person as he is.
Be professional.
Oh, yeah. And I think, like, you know, the biggest surprise, which, no, I think you got to agree with, is James Storm. Like, holy crap, James Storm. Which, like, we all know that, like, he was supposed to be signed to WWE, but then, of course, COVID happens, and he didn't get the opportunity. And so, like, we were hoping that he's going to be, like, debuting or whatnot. And plus, we're not sure what's his current status with NWA because, mind you, he is one half of the NWA World Tag Team Champion alongside Eli Drake.
Yeah.
So it is kind of mind-boggling, but it was great to see him on that. And then, of course, you have Fallah Ball trying to hold the water cache, and, of course, the face-off against Hernandez where he ripped a shirt. And then, of course, he did eliminate Fallah Ball with the water cache. That's where he ran up. And that's when Hernandez actually eliminated himself.
Hey, the
Which was
man wants his money back. I warned Ba, you should have got out of there as soon as Hernandez came in the ring. And again, Hernandez, it was clear that Ba Hernandez was going to be revisited here. That's why he was not my pick to win, despite him being a number 20 spot. We're going to see this pick up probably Tuesday. Overall, this gauntlet, I thought was pretty entertaining. I thought the whole little spot tribute to Legion of Doom by Tommy Dreamer and Swaggo to get rid of Brian Myers was pretty funny with the whole Doomsday device. There was some soul comedy here. Caleb with a K, he did okay for the time that he was in the ring. A lot of men versus women type action here. It wasn't like, isolated. Havoc, I thought, had a pretty good showing. James Storm, definitely my biggest surprise.
Yep.
TNA Original, one of my all-time favorites. I still, to this day, would love to see again, BAM! Money! But again, that's a whole different world. But yeah, it was great to see him. I was kind of sad we didn't see Eli Drake. I really wonder what's next for that guy. But I know NWA Power is supposed to be returning. So maybe we'll see both of them on there again because, as you said, they are the tag team champions. It's not like they've been vacated. Overall, though, congratulations to what it came down to in the end, a one-on-one wrestling type match with the draw, Sami Callihan, and of all people, number one, Rhino, because Heath was limited. I was like, no, well, there goes Heath. Bye-bye. But then again, I forgot. If Rhino wins, Heath does get the contract as well, but Heath also got injured. So I guess in victory, do you really have a victory? Because at the end of the day, after an attempted chair spot, but the ref convinced Sami to put the chair down, he turns into a gore. And this was after, by the way, he previously did that pile driver that usually gives him the win, but Rhino kicked out. And Rhino prevails and wins the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Not only claiming himself a title opportunity of his choice at his time of choosing, but he and Heath's careers are now solidified in Impact Wrestling. A fun gauntlet.
I agree. I mean, this gauntlet was fun. At the start of it, leading up to it, it's kind of like, a WTF situation. Like I said, the whole time clock situation happens. And then you have a couple spots that are kind of questionable. But then it started to pick things up until it got into the final four between Heath, Rhino, James Storm, and Sami Callihan. That was getting real. And then when it comes down to Rhino and Sami Callihan, oh my God. I was like, this is going to get crazier than expected to. And it was funny when Sami Callihan was told, Heath, I don't care about your kids.
Because that's right. Remember, he's got kids. He's got kids. We got to remember that. And it's not Heath Slater. It's just Heath.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's also one that has lost his last name. But maybe that's his choice. I don't know. And again, he's now part of Impact Wrestling. Congratulations to him.
That's
and
right.
As far as Daivari goes, I don't even know what to think from that. Maybe he and Rohit will form a tag team. I don't know if that's a one-off.
Yeah, that's kind of very questionable. Maybe Daivari's working backstage as a producer. I mean, there's a lot of questionable doubt. Was this the feature for him? I know for Swagg it's probably going to be a one-timer just for the appearance. So it could be that. But hey, it's all good. I enjoyed it, especially how different of the storyline has been developed. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to what title Ryan is going to challenge. But I think I know what's going to be, which we're going to get into that later on, especially after the recap, because there has been some reports happening after our Bound for Glory, you guys. So I just wanted to rest assured as well. So anyway, you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the next match, which is Eddie Edwards versus Ken. No, never mind. Not that. Sorry. Botch. This is a botch type of pay-per-view that's coming out. Man, it's like Impact Wrestling can botch. Why not can I botch? Even though it's so bad and it can be discredited.
Well, Impact Wrestling's always going to have the production issues. That's not a botch. That's just an Impact Wrestling problem for life.
Exactly. And also I wanted to point it out real quick because I saw it on Twitter just now. So the third person that was a part of the roundtable, his name is John Burton. So Madison Rain, D'Lo Brown, and John Burton. Those are the three panels from earlier on the pre-show roundtable. So I just wanted to
count down the glory panel. I get you.
Yep.
I see D'Lo Brown, his bobblehead self.
All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and move on to don't know if this is a match or not, but hey, we finally got a cinematic match, which is EC3 versus Moose in an undisclosed location match. So it looks like it took place at a wrestling school somewhere in Tennessee. And when I look at like who are these hooded wrestlers, as well, one of them kind of like seemed familiar, which I didn't jump the gun on it because because it's one of those female wrestlers that has like orange hair, and she kind of reminds me of Priscilla Kelly, but I couldn't tell because she's like wearing a face mask and a hoodie over. But anyway, this is kind of like one of those WTF moment that I was having high hopes for. I was expecting a pretty much a closed out match that is like a really stellar like performance for EC3 and Moose. But then again, it's just I feel this one is just like both guys beating the crap out of each other, and that's it. It doesn't seem to me like a real wrestling match too, but I get it because like they just wanted to make sure that like to control, like EC3 is trying to control the narrative, and it's like part of like this whole storytelling aspect regarding that old school TNA World Heavyweight Champion title that has been lingering around too. But it was a pretty good, let's just say, a story, because I don't consider it as a match, especially a lot of brutal spot too. And then you have EC3 got his head busted open, like ouch. Then Moose grabbed the steel chair as EC3 was attacking and beating the holy hell hard until, of course, like EC3 was about to do the finisher until like something triggers him, and it's like a flashback to him being Ethan Carter the Third. Trouble, 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 trouble. God, that song's so catchy. And he stopped, and that's where Moose did the spear, and that's when he beat the holy hell out of him. And then that's where EC3 told him like, what do you want, or something like that. And then of course everybody was chanting for Moose, Moose, Moose. And then of course that's when EC3 was like, surrender now, and he told him to control your narrative. And then Moose was like, thanks, and then he speared him, and then that's it. So yeah, all in all, it was a pretty good cinematic story. I don't consider it as a match. But it kind of reminds me of Edge versus Randy Orton's match at Extreme Rules, which is like the greatest match ever or something like that. Because, again, I did not watch the pay-per-view that is anything WWE related, but I read it on Twitter and also like other wrestling news sites too. So that's what I got the vibe of it, like from the looks of it. Noah, overall, your thoughts on this?
Botch. It was backlash that match actually took place, and it's still not the greatest match ever. Anyway.
I told you I don't watch WWE pay-per-views since I stopped watching it. We can watch it all night long, even though it's bad, but yeah.
You're just having a good time, and that's what matters here. And as far as that story goes, EC3 was having a good time. As again, this wasn't a match. This was a fight, but this also was a story, a narrative. I think finally we can say the narrative is over. We had one question here. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want, EC3? Because more so, it is not about what EC3 wanted. It is about what EC3 wanted Moose to be. And at the end of the day, Moose did say thank you, and then he just looked down at that title. It surprised me that Moose didn't drop the title, because it makes me wonder, does Moose realize now, you don't need this? Realize who you are. Control your narrative. You are free from what ties you. And it just might be that belt. It was a battle of symbolism here, because at the end of it, EC3 said he was getting what he wanted with solo answer. Yes. And then had his followers do the Moose chant. It was a very psychological warfare type match under a underground type wrestling background. As you know, some exposed turnbuckles still came into play. Blood was shed. I thought that Moose wearing all white and EC3's blood just coming all over it was a very nice touch too, to how physical this was getting. And overall, EC3 let himself be crucified in the name of letting Moose control his narrative. A very odd story that has been told over the past few weeks. And now that it's over, I wonder, who is free? Are either free? And what is next for EC3? It was interesting. And that's really all I can say about that.
Indeed. I mean, all in all, it was a pretty great storytelling and a great build, even though like it lead up to like halfway to the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. That's when it's kind of like seemed very questionable to it. And I did state it on the past episode, Into the Stratusphere, like, I feel that like the story they push so hard to try to draw into the audience of this control your narrative type of deal.
And
So,
pushes merch for it too. And I'm sure many people, some people I know, not only have face masks, but the exact same hoodies that you saw the so-called followers of EC3 wear. And also, think about this. Subtly in the background, besides that song, EC3's Ring of Honor theme was playing. So how much does this EC3 character play not only in Impact Wrestling, but Ring of Honor? Because he is soon going to be involved in an actual six-man tag, apparently, with the Briscoes and Shane Taylor and his crew on Ring of Honor. So you might be getting two different sides of EC3, where at the end of the day, he's trying to achieve the same thing in both promotions. But we'll have to wait and see. Bottom line is this, EC3 has 100% reinvented himself, and it's leading to some very interesting stories as far as what is this man talking about and what is his goal at the end of the day in all of pro wrestling.
Exactly. And to see like what is going to be next for Moose itself, especially with the old school TNA World Heavyweight title.
Yeah, will he go back to his old ways? Will he go back to the open challenge? Or will this match make him reflect upon himself? Will he finally relinquish that title and not consider himself tied to it, not consider himself a false idol? We're going to have to wait and see. Again, Bound for Glory, if nothing else, it left you wondering about a lot of things. This was definitely one of them.
Well, as I stated like earlier about the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match about Rhino, I honestly feel that Rhino's going to be the one that's going to challenge Moose for the TNA World Heavyweight title.
Well, they have faced each other before in one-on-one action, and I believe it was for that title. So you might be onto something.
Yeah, I mean, you could consider it as the only mid-card title in Impact Wrestling. So I think it will make it more doable for Moose to find something to do, especially with the title, and then have like Rhino challenging it. That's what I could see that happening to it, like. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, Noah.
Indeed.
Yeah. So anyway, the cinematic match itself, like I say, it doesn't seem to be a real match. But I can say it is better than the Backlash match, or even Big Swole versus Britt Baker's Tooth and Nail match at All Out. And also
the thing that helped this cinematic match, as we're calling it, because 2020 is the year of cinematic matches, let's just be honest here. Exactly. Bottom line, it was the story. In my opinion, when you talk about those other two matches from the other promotions, I thought this story was more compelling and had more to it and had more people wondering about it as well. I feel like EC3 right now is the best storyteller out of the 6 people we've seen across all 3 of these cinematic matches. When you think about Britt Baker and Big Swole, that was more so just Big Swole trying to get the best of the role model. When you think about Edge Norton, it was a homage to every classic finisher any WWE fan, new and old, has seen.
Or the Money in the Bank Tower match, too.
I'd like to pretend that doesn't exist, but
there you go. There you go. So there you have. We get our thoughts about this cinematic match from.
Yeah, there's an epilogue podcast for you waiting to happen, Cindy. Your viewers want your thoughts on a cinematic matches. Maybe you can rank your top 10.
I think I'm probably gonna do that. Maybe like when I'm gonna make an appearance on a feature Bulletcast episode with Philip and Brandon, which you never know what to expect. Like when it comes to the year-end award or like discussion or anything like that, anything can go. So
exactly, we'll have a lot to talk about on any forum or just in any discussion.
Exactly.
Come December 31st, 2020, and I can only imagine as soon as that clock hits midnight for that day to start, we are not going to stop counting down till January 1st officially hits.
I know.
For reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Chaos. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the next match, which got it right, which is Eddie Edwards versus Ken Shamrock with Sami Callihan. So pretty much it was a pretty decent match. I don't consider it as one of the greatest matches ever. It's just like your typical, standards match. You could watch it on Impact Wrestling. But I would give props to Ken Shamrock, especially with his MMA skill and actually giving much more of an offense to Eddie Edwards alike too. And so you have his pretty much Eddie with a top rope missile drop kick for a 2 count, and of course the sit out. power bomb for a 2 count until like Ken Shamrock did apply the cross arm lock until Eddie escaped with a pin for a 2 count. And of course Eddie with the backpack stunner till Ken did apply the sleeper hold until Eddie did headbutt. But like it's like a headbutt party too. And so
That's one way to get out of a sleeper.
oh definitely. And then you have his of course, Eddie Edwards with the Boston Knee Party and then a single leg Boston Crab that he's trying to like apply to make Shamrock tap out until Sammy did got the top turnbuckle and then he got his phone and that's when he turned off the light and then turned back on. Of course, it was just face off between Eddie and Ken, which I mean Eddie and Sammy Callahan, of course. Like I said, this is Saturday night, people. Callahan, I know, right? Sam Callahan with the bat, and of course you have Eddie Edwards with the candlestick as they both beat the holy hell out of each other. Until like once Sammy's down, that's when Ken Shamrock has the opportunity to do the belly to belly suplex, and then he applied the ankle lock, and he actually picked up the victory, you guys. So, like I said, pretty solid match, you know, and it's a good night for Ken Shamrock since like he won the match. And he's inducted to the Impact Wrestling's Hall of Fame. Your thoughts, Noah?
How about the verbal jab, by the way? Eddie Edwards and Ken Shamrock exchanged on the outside, apparently. That really ticked Ken Shamrock off. Almost gave me shades of the old Ken Shamrock. Also, there was a spot where Eddie Edwards did a torpe suicida to both Ken and Sammy. Looked like he might have injured Sammy's elbow as Sammy was grasping it. But yeah, I thought this was a very good match. Balance. Seems like what a match you would probably see actually on, like you said, TV's Impact. I look at Eddie Edwards for Sammy Khan that just happened on the recent episode of Impact Wrestling, and I compare it to this. There are matches that each told their own way. Both were very physical, very calculated, very back and forth. But I like how Eddie Edwards was really trying to focus on beating Ken at his own game, which is why he didn't go for the immediate pinfall after the Boston Knee Party hit, because I thought he had him there. But again, as I kept saying, this is more so a buffer for the feud that is still ensuing, and we literally revisit day one of it, too, as Sammy Callahan did get involved. He taps his phone, lights goes out. What do we have? We have Kenny the kendo stick in Eddie Edwards' hand, and Sammy with that baseball bat that started this whole Eddie Edwards transformation, honestly, to begin with, when he took out his right eye with a chair to a bat. Just saying. And in the end of the day, it was another distraction for Ken Shamrock to apply what brought him to the dance. That ankle lock, which he has basically made Eddie Edwards suffer in every time to the point that Eddie had no choice. Even after trying to get out of it, he had to tap out. Pretty good match by Ken Shamrock and Eddie Edwards. I would say that this definitely will be the only time these two would face each other. For now, I don't see a rematch in the near future. But I don't see Eddie Edwards and Sammy Callahan done with each other by a long shot. But a great night overall for Ken Shamrock.
Indeed. I don't see Shamrock and Sammy Callahan being together that long, you know. I mean, it's just a way that they can beat the holy out of Eddie Edwards, you know, just to get the revenge is like. Because
it's Sammy's agenda. That's what it is.
Exactly. And plus, like, Sammy Callahan has an impressive showcase during that Collar Shot Gauntlet match, even though he lost to Rhino. But I think this is going to be kind of like a next feud of a setup, too, between Rhino and Sammy Callahan, or like anybody in particular, too. Maybe a feud against the Cowboy James Storm.
If it's not a one-off, we could see. I mean, the Cowboy James Storm is a TNA original. He can offer a lot to this company in its development. But again, he's also with the NWA. We will have to wait and see.
Exactly. So, yeah, a good night for the Impact Wrestling Hall of Famer, Ken Shamrock.
Most dangerous Hall of Famer, apparently.
Oh, yeah. The dangerous Hall of Famer in the world. More dangerous than Team 3D. Just saying. Or Abyss. Just saying.
I'm pretty sure Bully Ray would have something to say about that on Busted Open, but I will save that for another day.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Anyway, let's go to move on to the next match, which is the 4-way tag team title match, which is the current champ Motor City Machine Gun versus the North versus Ace Austin and Madman Fulton versus the Good Brothers. So, y'all, honey, to quote Lily T, so, right when Motor City Machine Gun came out, that's when the North beat the holy hell out of them. Right when, until they got all the way up to the ramp where the Titantron is at, Josh was applying the double hook pile driver to Alex Shelley, and that's when Alex Shelley injured. Like, I had to take a look at that brutal spot, and it seems that like Alex Shelley's head actually bounced off, almost landed on his neck. So that was a really nasty bump. That, like, everybody on Twitter were very concerned, including yours truly. So fortunately, he had to be out. But then, of course, Chris Sabin, he has no choice but to defend the title by himself. And I must say, I give utter respect to Chris Sabin. No matter what everybody else is saying about him, I know he did injure with, let's just say, was it 3 ACL injury? Because it's either 2 or 3 ACL injury.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3. The bottom line, everybody suffers an ACL injury, it seems, in wrestling. Who can keep up with all of them?
Exactly. 2 or 3 ACL injury, and look what happened. He actually pulled it through, and, like, even though he was the main target for everybody except for the Good Brothers, but, like, he did put one hell of a heavy fight. All in all, it was a pretty decent tag team title match. It was all right, but not the best, not the worst. It was pretty decent. I mean, a lot of tag team defense and also a lot of, like, double moves too. Good Brothers, they're the one that are trying to beat the holy out of those heels, of course. And unfortunately, at the end, Ethan Page with the belt, and then Josh did actually pin Carl Anderson. And of course, the North. That's right. The North is your new Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champion. Noah, your thoughts?
This was a very interesting match, but clearly one team in here definitely came in with a plan. That was the North. They attacked the champs beforehand, and they literally took out one half of the champs. I just hope Alex Shelley is okay. Kudos to Chris Sabin taking on the world, literally, in basically what became a 6-on-1 handicap match. I'm surprised he didn't hot tag himself, like, Darby Allin. But anyway, I thought he really was the MVP here of this match. He definitely showed why he is an all-time great in TNA, in Impact Wrestling, and what happened to the tag champs. There was some great counter offense and tag team action from all 3 teams galore. Mammoth Fulton looked very strong there at one point. Mammoth Fulton and Sauce and I feel like we're coming in as the biggest underdogs, being really more so a mixed tag team, not a united front because of reasons. And then, of course, we have the Good Brothers here who have been playing the Guardian Angels Motor Machine Guns. It surprised me they didn't stop that spot up on the entranceway, but maybe they were turned around. I don't know. I'm surprised nobody got involved in that. I'm surprised Mammoth and Fulton, they saw somewhere attacking the Good Brothers that were just there at the ringside. And overall, in this 4-way, they did try and keep it to 2 men in the ring at a time until some double taps were made to the self-teams themselves. Good Brothers, I thought, were very close at one point, pulling off a magic killer attempt. But again, the North, this is the reason why they are the longest reigning and probably the best tag team in all of Impact Wrestling history. They pulled it off again. They came with a game plan. They stuck to their guns. Your boy, Ethan Page, and the walking weapon, Josh Alexander, they got the job done by hook or by crook. You can call it a steal if you want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to who gets the gold. Now Ethan Page, who says that he really hasn't been able to sleep properly, probably for over 90 days, can probably sleep like a baby tonight. He's once again the tag team champion. But I have a feeling that the North and the Motor Machine Guns, they're going to come back against each other very soon, but maybe the Good Brothers will before then, because the Good Brothers, again, they said they came in for the gold. And they were honestly my pick to win here. I was wrong on both fronts. Great tag team action, not the greatest, but definitely it was one of the stronger matches of the night. Congratulations once again to the North.
Exactly. I know that some people are giving heat to Josh Alexander on social media for the way that he injured Alex Shelley, which, accident does happen, people.
This isn't ballet. This is professional wrestling, folks. And at the end of the day, all these people are trying to be as safe as possible. But sometimes things just don't go your way. And for all we know, maybe Alex Shelley was going in here prone for some reason. And this was maybe a way to ram up like a story into the match. But the bottom line is this. I hope Alex Shelley is okay. And the North got the results they wanted. And now we'll see what happens following Tuesday.
I hope so too. I mean, I've checked on social media. There's no update info about Alex Shelley's injury update or whatnot. So make sure to stay tuned to the Bullcast. I know Philip and Brandon are probably going to cover the news like on their usual WWE and AEW recaps and news on the upcoming.
Scott Demore is going to have a stressful night ahead of him.
Yeah. And also, like, I'll give you guys updated on the next episode Into the Stratusphere as well for, like, any updates going on. All right. And also, like, the updates on the next match, which I'm going to be saying is right now. So next up you have is the Impact Knockouts Championship match.
Oh, Lord.
What you have is Deonna Purrazzo, the current champ, versus Kylie Rae. And joining in the commentary with Don Callis and Josh Matthews is Madison Rayne. So you have Deonna Purrazzo and, of course, that lovely glam rocker curator Kimberly came out first, which was like, that's odd. Normally because the championship's supposed to be coming out last, but then they come out first. And then once Kylie music hit, we were waiting, and then she did not show up. And so that's kind of like raising concern for everybody. And I just wanted to point it out there because I know a lot of people were like pissed for the fact that, like, you know, why they advertise her music and the match. Like, is something bad happened to her, or like did she get like COVID or anything like that? Because mind you, Kylie Rae did actually competed at GCW Collective, but little didn't you guys, some of you guys don't know this, but like Kylie Rae was supposed to be having a match at GCW the Collective on Sunday on the last day of the show, but she had to be pulled out because like it doesn't even say anything about what's going on. But all I know is that her last match at the GCW Collective was against Josh Alexander, which is pretty interesting. Even though, like, you know, she was on social media yesterday retweeting the video packaging promo. And so as of now, like, there's no words about what's going on with Kylie Rae and with this circumstances or anything like that. And I know people say that's so dirty that they kind of like do like a false advertisement. I mean, that's the whole subject to change type of deal too. Like,
the fine text, folks.
Exactly. Like, I'm not mad about it or disappointed. It's the fact that like she didn't make the appearance or anything like that. I know that Impact Wrestling is going to be addressing like what's going on with Kylie Rae altogether. But, you know, here's the thing, people. What is one of the reasons why you pay $40 for Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory? Because I know when I saw this on Twitter, and yes, I'm going on a bit of a rant, the reason why they order the pay-per-view because they want to see Deonna versus Kylie Rae. And now, like, I've seen, like, posting that, oh, why the hell did I order the pay-per-view? The reason why, because I'm watching this knockouts match, all that stuff. It really grinds my gear big time because, you know, as someone that is a supporter of wrestling itself, especially, like, you have some stars that are still doing indie works, you know, you got to support them 100% behind, too. I get that you wanted to watch it because you have your favorite wrestlers that was supposed to be making an appearance, but then no show because of, like, anything due to circumstances, and then you starting to like complain about it, what's going on, and you know, is that person's okay, and all that too. And also there's like a lot of assumption about this whole, like, you know, oh, is it because of COVID? Do not jump the gun, people, because like, you never know what's going on. I know, like, you know, we're in a scary situation when it comes to the pandemic. So I wouldn't not jump the gun and all that stuff. So yeah, you guys. So I just wanted y'all to let y'all know what's going on. So yeah. Anyway, so with that end of my rant, you guys, I hope Kylie Rae is doing okay, whatever circumstances happen. So again, stay tuned for any updates from the Bulletcast. I know Philip and Brandon again, maybe going to be bringing it up on their upcoming episode, like where they do recap for WWE and AEW when they discuss wrestling new. And also, I'll make sure to give you guys an update of what's going on with Kylie Rae on the next episode Into the Stratosphere. But enough of my rant, because I have a lot to say, especially as someone, as a human being, you know. But hey, if you guys wanted to like message me or anything like that, feel free to message me on Twitter or my Instagram and let's talk, or whichever. But yeah.
Get real with Cindy G. And with that being said, let me talk to you because this
oh god, the glasses.
The
shades are
okay. So people are having a freaking pissy fit over the fact that their favorite smiley character, Kylie Ray, didn't wrestle? Did you think about maybe what the person might be going through? There are some people that just simply want an answer because they're actually showing genuine concern for another human being. Doesn't matter whether you're wrestler, non-wrestler, wrestling fan, non-wrestling fan. This is another person at the end of the day facing the same circumstance in life that we are. And that is constantly a battle against themselves, and who knows what the hell the world's going to throw against them. I sincerely, personally pray and hope that everything is okay with Kylie Ray when it comes to her health and her mentality. Because for all we know, that could be what's affecting her right now. Some people want it to be COVID. Now, in a way, that seems very short-sighted, but I understand why some people maybe want that, because at the end of the day, some people, curiosity killed the cat, they just want an answer. And maybe some of those people are just expressing genuine concern, because even though they don't literally know the person, they care about the person, not just the wrestler. And I respect that. But you shouldn't assume or jump the gun or hope that it's a circumstance that you see with somebody else. You should just let it play out and wait and see what happens. The bottom line is this. Best case scenario, we are building a storyline, and that's what really this match should be looked at, because you shouldn't order a pay-per-view or some sort of wrestling forum because one wrestler you actually know or the most popular name you care about is on the damn card. You should be supporting the company, the workers, the wrestlers in general that are trying to entertain you. Find a positive outlet in your life as a professional wrestling fan too, or something new to pursue if this was your first Impact Wrestling go-around, because I know a few people that it was. I hope that Kylie Ray is okay. I still enjoyed this match. I'm sure you'll talk about it. I'll give more details once you give your breakdown. But as far as Kylie Ray goes, leave her be. And she wants to explain her situation. She will when she feels comfortable and when the time needs to be. The bottom line is this. Let Kylie Ray deal with her own thing. And we'll wait and see what happens. And Kylie Ray, I just hope you are okay. The person, not just the wrestler. That's all I got to say about that.
Bravo. Bravo, Noah. So if you guys are watching it on YouTube, you guys, whenever there's like a rant or a unfavorable moment, Noah always either take off his glasses or take off his sunglasses, because that's where you want on a full-blown rant. So I just wanted to make a disclaimer, you guys. So, yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and break down this match. So Deonna Purrazzo issued a challenge. She could take out any women and men for the Knockouts title. And then lo and behold, the returning Su Yung. Yes.
Oh,
no more Susie. I knew that.
I was expecting Su Yung to make a presence at Bound for Glory in some capacity. I was not expecting under this.
Remember the segment where like Kylie Ray gives Susie the knee pads, and then when Kylie told her your time will come, and then when Susie looked at the mirror, she was like, your time will come, and then that could be the trigger point for it. So
I mean, there was trigger points before this in every tag match that Kylie Ray and Susie were involved in, where you suddenly saw
and remember when Deonna Purrazzo did the Venus de Milo to Susie, that kind of like broke her arm. So that's kind of like the biggest.
After stomping in a chair. And I think that was the breaking point. And again, this goes back to my story. But before you go on this match, let me just say one more thing. The beauty about Impact Wrestling, its Knockouts division is the most flexible women's professional wrestling division I have seen lately in the industry. As Deonna Purrazzo not only called out any woman, but also any man. I also subtly respect Madison Rayne for the impact she has had on both of these women and Su Yung, but also she probably never wants to deal with Su Yung again because she was sent to the Undead Realm. And that's the reason why I knew Madison Rayne was going to be on commentary just for this match. She put this match over more than any other match on the Bound for Glory Countdown to Glory panel. And I respect that because Madison Rayne is a former Knockouts champion and she has made her mark on this Knockouts division. And still is in a way. But do I see her getting in the ring again? Probably not after what happened tonight.
Exactly, for that. So, with this match, yes, these ladies beat the holy hell out of each other. And by the way, the match time was almost 14 minutes. So I just want to let y'all know because I did.
That's impressive.
That was very impressive. And both ladies, like, geez, they went to a whole new level for it. So,
and Deonna Purrazzo put out a new move that I'm sure you're going to cover.
Exactly.
So break it down, Cindy.
including the Paradise Lock, which Deonna Purrazzo did apply it on Su Yung on the top row, and she did the Paradise Lock, of course, in honor of Sonata, which he used to be in Impact Wrestling, by the way, former X Division champion before joining.
In a past life, yes.
That's right. All right, so, and then you have is Su, and then Deonna Purrazzo did apply not one, but twice, but 3 times of the German suplex, and that's when Su did counter with the DDT. And another impressive moment when Deonna Purrazzo was placed in a chair, that's when Su did the rolling cannonball outside of the ring, landed on Deonna while sitting on a chair. That was a pretty impressive spot.
That's something you don't normally see out of her either. Both women were pulling out all the stops here.
Oh, yeah, indeed. And then, of course, you have the returning bloody glove after Su licked her hand. It's like, what the hell? Hey, it's Su Yung. She is the undead bride, of course.
Don't remind me.
And she's about to do the mandible claw, but then Deonna did try to, like, counter. And, of course, you know, referee kind of, like, got knocked down after Deonna Purrazzo accidentally did the punt kick to the ref, and of course, like trying to like Su Yung was trying to apply like one of her like signature move, but then of course the ref is still down no matter what. And then she did try the mandible claw, and then while she did give the mandible claw to Deonna, she actually gave the red mist to Kimberly. So kind of like a double combo. That was like pretty interesting.
Takes out the curator.
Oh, right. And then Deonna Purrazzo did apply the Fujiwara armbar, and then she actually like bit Su Young's hand while she was like applying the mandible claw for the offense. And then at the end, of course, Deonna Purrazzo did the double pun kick until Su Yung did the panic switch, and then of course Su Yung is the new Knockouts champion. Very well deserved for the undead bride, because now Halloween is now around the corner and it's going to be a lot of hell to break loose. Overall, your thoughts of this match, Noah?
One of the best matches of the night. I knew the Knockouts would definitely steal the show. They revisit everything here that involved Susie in a past life and Deonna Purrazzo, including literally almost trying to break Su Young's arm. But again, as she went for the Venus de Milo and the Fujiwara armbar, Su Yung kept fighting out of it, kept countering it, and as you said, at one point, literally used the mandible claw to break out of it, only for Deonna to literally bite down on her hand. It really shows that Deonna Purrazzo, she got past her initial fear of Su Yung. She's like, oh, holy hell, what did I just agree to? Because you saw the initial fear all across Deonna Purrazzo, and you heard it from Madison Rayne on commentary. Both these women, they went tit for tat with every move, but Su Yung, being half dead, it seems, she basically fought off most of that offense, especially towards the end with the double punk kicks. Interesting ending exchange where at the end, panic switch, we got a friggin' new Knockouts champion. Oh my gosh, all hell's about to break loose, and the entire dynamic of the Knockouts division has now changed. What I also find interesting here, though, now is basically Susie is dead again. It's back to Su Yung. So what can we expect here? What's the storyline going forward? Are we going to get Kylie Rae wondering what happened to her and now her friend, her only true friend's gone? Are we developing a Kylie Rae versus Su Yung program? Will Deonna Purrazzo dare challenge Su Yung again to get her title back? Or is there different, more ambitious plans for both Kimberly and Deonna Purrazzo? I hope Kimberly's face is okay, too, because that missed. Yeesh. And again, kudos to both Knockouts. They really tore the house down, I thought, here. This was a great story of a match and a very competitive bout as well. Deonna Purrazzo, she may not have left champion, but she proved why she did come in to Impact Wrestling. At the end of the day, this initially talked about who is the better professional wrestler. I don't know so much we figured that question out, but both these women definitely gave us a great professional wrestling match. Congratulations to the returning Su Yung. But I will say this, I already miss Susie.
Okay, well, I kind of don't, even though, like, you know, it is a pretty, like, different direction for Su Yung type of situation. But I'm glad that Su Yung is officially back, and I think it's, like, going to be, like, a new, like, let's just say an interesting story that's going to be going on. I have a feeling that it's going to have to do with, you know, the next feud is going to be Su Yung versus Kylie Rae. If it's going to be kind of like playing off with, like, Kylie Rae's injury or anything in particular, Su Yung may be going to be explaining why that, like, oh, it's because, like, I wanted to get the title opportunity. I just wanted to, like, get this and that. I just wanted to, like, Sorry.
Botch!
I know, right?
With that being said, Su Young is not local. But I do like what you're doing there because it feels like to me this is a battle of psychological warfare when it comes down to Su Young. Because in a past life, we had Susie. And then maybe, again, after what Deanna did, that finally triggered something to where Susie basically ended up dying. And we once again reverted back to Su Young. Because again, Susie and Su Young are technically the same body, not the same person. So it's going to be interesting to see how even Su Young came back to be, if we get some backlog to that.
Indeed. And how it's going to be like playing out for the most part too. All right. So I got this fixed up. So yeah, it is the night of botches, you guys. Speaking of which, we're going to get into another botch in a moment.
Oh, here we go.
All in all,
all in
all, I'm really looking forward to what's going to be next for Suya. And regarding with Deanna Purrazzo, well, there's going to be an opportunity for her and alongside Kimberly as well.
Segue.
Oh, yeah. So, as you guys know, that there has been an announcement, which I'm very excited because, like, I've been waiting for this. So, Josh Matthews did botch the announcement, and I want Noah to say what's the announcement about.
Well, first off, Josh Matthews. Botch!
Yep.
Finally, we've been asking for it. About damn time when you consider the depth of this Knockouts division. And again, the beauty and flexibility and athleticism that comes with it. Ladies and gentlemen, come January 2021, Impact Wrestling's next pay-per-view, Hard to Kill. We bring back to you, the fans, the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And they look glorious.
Oh, indeed. So clean. And it looks so prestigious altogether. And I love it.
Now, this makes me wonder. Plans might change. Will our first champions be the likes of maybe Deanna Purrazzo and the curator Kimberly? Could it be the one that I believe you picked at first, which was Rosemary and Ty Valkyrie? Or could it be the one that some good friends I know believe definitely show they can carry these titles with attitude? Like Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz. Could havoc ensue and madness with Jessica Havoc and Nevaeh? There are a number of ways that these Knockouts Tag Team Championships can go, and I'm really looking forward to what they decide to do with them.
Me too, because we haven't seen the Knockouts Tag Team titles in like over 7 years, and the last Knockouts Tag Team Champion was, of course, ODB and EY.
Oh, good
But that
Lord.
was like a whole past life type of situation. So I'm glad.
Different past life, yeah.
Yep, I'm glad they did revitalize the Knockouts Tag Team title belt. It looks really nice and clean and prestigious. And I'm looking forward to what's going to be expecting on January 16, 2021, Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill. Like when Josh Matthews did actually botch the announcement, it got me like super hyped up. I was like, oh. It's not until 2021. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he tried to cover himself saying, I mean, this year basically has been like, pretty unforgettable. Yeah, more ways than one, I guess.
Exactly. Unforgettable because we're still living in hell of a pandemic. But yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the last match, the main event match, which is the Impact World Championship match, which is you have as the current champ, the world-class maniac, Eric Young, versus a freshly clean babyface shaved Rich Swann. Yes, this is the first time ever I've seen Rich Swann with no facial hair. He looks so different. He almost looks like Elijah Burke, to be quite honest with you.
Now, less braids, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. A young Elijah Burke. I was like, holy crap. But yeah, anyway, it was a pretty interesting main event match. It was kind of like a slow start. Of course, both guys did actually like exchange some jabs to one another, especially how Rich Swann is determined trying to beat the holy hell of Eric Young for what he actually did to Rich Swann. And it was pretty impressive, but things starting to get really picked up where Rich did the side suplex on a Tom turnbuckle, and that's where he actually got. Well, he's bleeding through his mouth, of course. And, of course, he did the frog splash for a 2 count. EY with the elbow drop with a 2 count and then turning to, like, the cross face lock, which are like pretty brutal. And of course, like EY with the spine down for the 2 count. And of course, like picking up through it, Rich did not 1, but 2 cutters. And then he did the Phoenix Splash. And of course, Rich Swann is your new Impact World Heavyweight Champion. He did it, you guys. He is not retired. He's 100% healthy. And he's the new champion. It was, like I said, a pretty solid main event match, especially to end the feud between Rich Swann and EY, especially what Rich has been going through so much. Your thoughts, Noah?
The amount of mental and physical hell that EY has not only put Rich Swann, but all of Impact Wrestling through. You could have asked for a better way to end this story, too. A very physical match where at one point we're worried about, is he going to, reignite that injury to his ankle? No, he worked on his neck. And there were some really scary spots here, as commentary putting over, too, that maybe Rich Swann can't continue. Maybe this is it. Eric Young, he did a number of powerful moves, of course, attacking the neck of Rich Swann, and many times we thought it was over. There was some great near-fall counter spots here, but again, we were testing the will of Rich Swann. As Eric Young says, this world is mine. Stay down, retire. Rich Swann refused to. Literally, I think at one point Eric Young was breaking probably his jaw because, we saw that spot there. But Rich Swann, we've seen that crazy face that he gets. He came in like a bat out of hell towards Eric Young, built some offense at one point. Then Eric Young stopped that down in its tracks, and as you said, got the near fall off that move too. And then at one point, Rich Swann, he follows up with his own type of finishing maneuver, but he couldn't capitalize because Eric Young rolled over, and he started bleeding from the mouth. But he kept the offense going, and in the end, he put everything into it. And after the 2 cards of Phoenix Splash, we end with a positive note as Rich Swann now is finally, the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. And this dark omen, this dark cloud of Impact Wrestling has basically been lifted. And everybody, all the faces anyway, they came in to celebrate and congratulate with the champ. So again, congratulations to Rich Swann on finally achieving Impact Wrestling World Championship status. Let's see how you lead Impact Wrestling all the way to Hard to Kill, and who your first target is going to be towards your title reign. A wonderful close to this very unique pay-per-view, to say the least, where apparently everything's changed, except for the X division, apparently.
Exactly. I mean, there is so many endless possibility for what's going on, that like how it's going to be played out afterwards too, especially who's going to be a next big threat for Eric Young, since he's going to be on a hell of a rampage since he lost a title. Maybe he's going to get a rematch against Rich Swann. Rich is going to be like holding on to the title. Hopefully he'll hold on to the title for a long time. That's what I'm hoping for. Because, face it, he is the face of the company alike.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and so I feel like he's going to get like so many challenger up ahead to it too. And like afterwards, like you have pretty much almost everyone, heels and babyface, coming in to congratulate, of course, Rich Swann, which is like such a very feel-good moment that he finally got that title for all the hell that he's been going through, especially like saying he's going to retire, which, it's a work, and then he focused on his like injury and never giving up, I feel like with Rich Swann, he's kind of like an inspiration for some people, to never give up on your dreams too. And
you look at his compelling backstory as well of where he came from, what he's been through, and what led him to professional wrestling too. It is a very touching story. He's definitely a guy I think a lot of people can relate to. And again, congrats to him. And it was not a good moment just for Rich Swann. It was a great moment overall for Impact Wrestling because of what they did as a whole tonight. And that's why the locker room, as you said, did come out. Not only to celebrate Rich Swann, but celebrate we did it. Now the future, we'll see what comes with it.
Exactly. And that's it, you guys. That is the whole show for Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory 2020. So before I get into like the top like updating news of what happened afterwards, because I did receive looks like there's an update going on regarding Kylie Ray. And also we have one injury report that has been already confirmed. That is not Alex Shelley, by the way, because like there's no word yet about Alex Shelley. So first things first, we're going to do our ranking / our letter grade. So We're going to start with the letter grade and then the thumbs up, thumbs down, because I feel this is a pay-per-view. When it comes to pay-per-view, we're going to be giving an honest grade and then the thumbs up, thumbs down. So, Noah, you go first. What are your
Bound for
thumbs up?
Glory. Impact Wrestling's True Reset. Their biggest show of the year. Their Super Bowl, as some would say. It gave us incredible moments. It gave us unpredictable results. It gave us a feel-good closer. And everybody on the Impact Wrestling roster truly tried to deliver. You got a little bit of everything from fast-paced action to brawling to fighting to an odd cinematic touch that was more so compelling storytelling. And that definitely led the night. This show was not bad, but it was not the greatest. But I did enjoy myself practically overall. This show gets a solid B, despite botches and despite what people might think about some stuff. This is a solid B for me.
And your thumbs up, thumbs down?
Thumbs up, thumbs down. I'm going to be generous, despite what happened. 1.5.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to go on a lower grade with you, Noah, because like I was expecting a lot from Impact Wrestling, especially with Bound for Glory. I don't think this is their strongest pay-per-view because their only strongest pay-per-view they actually delivered was at Slammiversary, and that's when it got like whole buzz to it too. I feel that some of the matches has been flat. Like I feel like I'm watching another episode of Impact Wrestling, especially when there's two matches that like, one of them got injury prone and the other one is a no-show because of like due to circumstances. And it seems that like the whole cinematic matches was giving like a whole confusion together. And then you have some of the unnecessary segment like the whole like the cast of Wrestle House. Like, do we need a freaking like
I forgot about that.
updated about Rosemary and Johnny?
That kind of, in my opinion, hurt the value of the show because that feels more so like an Impact Wrestling angle versus pay-per-view needed background. So, yeah, I forgot about that. We kind of didn't touch a whole lot on that either because it did come into play. I'm surprised you didn't talk about the one point where Johnny Bravo basically became Taya and basically talked about his hidden agenda as far as his way for total control after this wedding. So, yeah, based on that, 1.
Yeah.
With the
yeah, 1 thumbs up. Okay. Yeah, because like it doesn't like why do you need to add this? You should have added like long ago, like on the last episode of Impact Wrestling, or make it into an online exclusive, or even on a pre-show, so that way it can like save more time, like during the commercial break, exclusively on Fight TV or any other streaming platform, but not like on the pay-per-view itself. It just feels like it's been a bit flat, in my opinion. I guess it's due to the fact that, they still don't have crowds. I understand because of the whole safety precaution due to we're still in a pandemic, but if they could bring like, a little bit of a staff member, like just observe the show and just like, enjoy and watch it. And especially when hyping up the crowd. I mean, the only crowd we watch is just that cinematic story type match too. But
and those are just fill-ins and independent wrestlers. And again, no Matt Striker also. Matt Striker's commentary probably would have helped also with the mood of the show because I gotta be honest with you. The Eddie Edwards-Ken Shamrock match, it almost felt like a buffer to me after that cinematic match that left me with more questions than stories. So, but again, Impact Wrestling, I'm going to give them credit because, again, compared to last year, they're really trying. And that's why I'm trying to be a little generous. But I can't get over this whole idea of you added this Wrestle House angle to a pay-per-view. Now that you brought that up. As far as the, the technical glitches and, the production value, those are going to be always flaws of Impact Wrestling because it's not a big player. It's not a budget company. So I'm not going to hold that against them. So that's why I kind of went with the B grade. But again, Wrestle House, No Match Striker, solid 1, B-, not going lower than that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I just feel that, like, it's just too flat, in my opinion. And I feel like, I'm watching All Out all over again, minus, that whole, like, situation with Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara.
Okay, let's be honest here. Yeah. That spot with Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy triumphs any botches. Yeah. And Impact Wrestling gave us tonight injury and technical galore because that was just bad.
It was bad, yeah. So for my grade, I'm actually going to give it a solid C. And for my thumbs up, thumbs down, I'm just going to give it a 1 thumbs up, you guys. So,
There you go.
yeah, that is my overall thoughts and my opinions about Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory. So now let's go ahead and go very quick with the update. So, first of all, so there has been an update regarding Kylie Rae. So, it's not 100% confirmed, but there has been a report already. So, Brian Alvarez of F4W online did state that the reason why she was a no-show at Bound for Glory is because she was kept off the show because of an injury that is not believed to be serious. So pretty much like there is a report that she has like kind of like a minor injury, but not too serious. So again, stay tuned for any updates regarding like what's going on with Kylie Rae. Like I mentioned it before, so we'll make sure that hopefully it's nothing too serious from Kylie Rae. And also another update just to break in. So Heath actually posted on Twitter that he posted just 2 of his leg being wheeled off to the hospital room. So he's actually sustained an injury.
Damn.
So yeah, you guys. So he is going to be out for quite a while. No full report that's happening, just him with the picture of him at a hospital. So wishing all the best of luck to Heath. Hopefully he gets well very soon as well. And again, there's no updated report regarding what happened to Alex Shelley's injury as well. Hopefully he'll make it out okay. So those are the quick updates, you guys. And yeah. Anyway, so without further ado, let's go ahead and end this show, you guys. That was a long Saturday night of Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory. The next big pay-per-view would be Hard to Kill, January 16, 2021. Of course, they'll be doing their monthly pay-per-view exclusively on Impact Plus. But yeah. Anyway, Noah, thank you so much for being on the show. Once again, I really appreciate it a lot. So where can the Bulletcast Nation can find you?
Anytime, Cindy. It's a pleasure talking wrestling with you and just having a conversation. People, let me talk to you. You want to find me, know more about me, know this. I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of ... wrestling. Don't forget it. It's simple. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, PlayStation, and Foster 1916, Twitch, and Foster 191625. And as always, folks, what I stand for, support Impact Wrestling Success, the Harvey Wrestling fans, and support wrestling outlets big and small. Let's keep growing this incredible, diverse, unique, elite wrestling community together. Simple as that. Cindy, it was a pleasure. And congratulations to the winner of our predictions game. Again, everything's changing in Impact. Everything's changing for No DQ as we got a new cohort, Jerry Slaughter. He cleaned house tonight in our predictions game and is the new No DQ Impact Predictions Champion. Congratulations to him. I look forward to doing this again with the Impact Nation, as I like to call it, come Hard to Kill. But again, we got to get for the rest of 2020. And we'll see what other house shows are to come to.
Exactly. So congratulations, Jerry. Darn it, Jerry. No contributor, but yeah. Anyway, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and on my YouTube channel at simply_C_OK. That's SIMPLY_C_OK. And also, I just wanted to plug in real quick. Make sure to follow NoDQ.com on all social media platforms. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channel at NoDQDOTCOM.com for all the latest news and updates in WWE, AEW, and other wrestling news. And also make sure to follow the Bulletcast on every social media platform, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and subscribe to this YouTube channel as well at the Bulletcast. And also make sure to follow all the podcasting platform when you're listening to, like Anchor FM, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and other wrestling-related podcasting platform. All right, and with that being said, please remember to wash your hands 20 to 30 seconds. Please wear your face mask or any other face covering at all time. No excuses. Also, people, make sure to vote because your vote matters. November 3rd is the most important day ever. So I just want to give a quick PSA because yours truly actually did voted early. So yeah. And also remember, people, to please stay kind to one another. We're all in this together. Till then, I'll see you in the next episode of Into the Stratusphere. Cheers, y'all.
Have a good night, folks.